now in Brazil.
Okay, we play again a very strong Soviet player, Soviet Grandmaster Lein.
Okay.
And okay, little by little we can transpose. Finally we started with c4. With c4, normally you have an English opening. After d4, you can come to some Tarrasch position if black plays like this, and finally here, but this move order, we have a Sicilian. Yeah. So he played e4. Now if white played g3, we continue with an English opening. By playing e4 is Sicilian. In a few moves we come from an opening to another opening, you see, like this.
Yes.
And from here, white has to try to show that his advantage is okay, smaller or bigger, but you have the advantage. This is the most important thing, because you have more space. All right, bishop d7. It was an idea that I played also later on in some Sicilians, but it was Najdorf who played first. I mean, the whole line is Najdorf, called after himself, and the bishop d7 with the idea knight c6 is also very good for black. And now, if you play castle, for instance, after knight c6, the game is almost even. So the move order is very important now. Why? Because that makes the difference. You see, you can keep the knight from d4. So white plays first f4, and after knight c6, you can retreat the knight. You don't trade the knight. So this is very good.
Yeah.
It's very good because you have much more space with white. It's very pleasant to play because you control the squares and you have much more space. So, okay, he wants to, not to give too much. I mean, if he gives the possibility to play e5, he's already a little bit too much. So, okay. But now he's forced because he is a weakness in d5, and white is always better because of this control of d5. It's very unpleasant for black. He's not lost, but very, very unpleasant for black, even by this highest level. But you have to be patient, you see. You don't win immediately. You don't have something very quickly. But it's very pleasant, and later on, it's coming. We'll see. F5. Okay, bishop e7, logical. Okay, castle. No, rook c8 first. Rook c8. All right, king h1, castle. Good. And here, of course, bishop e3 first, knight b4, bishop e2, a5. He didn't have time to play bishop c6, because if he played bishop c6, he lost the knight, with a3. So a5 was necessary to have the possibility to go back with the knight in a6. And now he prepares the idea, knight a6, knight c5, with some good counterplay. This is the line. All right, so now bishop c6, all right. a3, knight c6, and again, patient, no? You have to control 3 times the squared e4, first. So now he comes, no? Knight c5, knight d7 first, knight d7, rook b1. We want to come very quickly with b4. If we arrive to b4, is almost winning for white. If he doesn't do something very quickly. So, all right, he accepts the fact that he has to defend. There's no other way to do it. And now, after b4, we have everything. Okay, we have everything. Look at this. Fantastic for white.
Yeah.
Much space and so, but it's still not winning. Very nice, very beautiful, but you have to demonstrate. It's not so easy. Therefore, you have to be patient. Okay, took. Now, again, move by move. Again, knight back, because the threat was brutal, d5, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, knight d5. After knight d5, in any case, you want to take a bishop. This is the idea. I mean, it's not too good to take with the knight, because if he takes with the knight, the bishop is dead in b7 later on. Even if you take with the pawn, c or with e, the same. You have absolute control of the white squares, and the bishop from b7, very sad position. So, right, so you have to be quiet and accept the fact that his opponent is coming, in all position. Again, very difficult. White again prepares, not immediately. If you take to e7, in e7 is much better for white, but nothing decisive yet. All right, so rook c1, knight e8, good idea. controlling all the black squares, So now what to do? Now, at least we have the two bishops. Later on, we'll see the black bishop from e3 will become very dangerous later on. Okay, queen takes. We start all over again, We finish the first part of the game, and now we prepare some tactical chances against the black king. It seems a little bit difficult to understand because everything is controlled by black. We
Yes.
don't have any push or something to
Yeah.
attack immediately. But in theory, white is much better because of the two bishops and the possibility to launch a counterattack or an attack straight like this, later on. Now, black has to be very careful, all the time. Yeah. Okay, but it's difficult. Now the knight is coming to c3, controlling again the most important case, the case d5. Therefore, the knight from c3.
Not to push, you mean? Not to push?
No, not to push. No, you control from outside like this, But you control completely the case.
But why do you control? To bring something here or to?
We'll see. It depends. It depends what is black doing, If he plays first b5, if he waits, if he tries to keep quiet with knight f6, depends of the position. Therefore, I tell you, it's very complicated because it takes time, You control
You
and
need to
you
have
control.
patience,
But you have to be. But now this you learn with the experience, When you are very young, it's very difficult to play something like this because you want something quickly,
Yes.
But if you are experienced grandmaster, then you understand much better, and you can demonstrate later on why you are better and how, you see. And therefore, it's a very nice example, this game, you see. Okay, nice c3. Finally, we came to the complete control of d5 the second time, you see.
Yeah.
Rook f6. Okay, he's waiting again, no? Queen e2, queen there. All right, now he waits. Maybe you want a little bit too much and you push g4. If you push g4, then at least he has some counterplay on the diagonal. If you don't win very quickly, he has a small hope to do something himself also,
Yes.
But white, again, controlling the d file, and for the moment, we have a weakness in d6, you see. If we push the bishop in c2 or in b1, the d file is open, and we want to take maybe, somehow, or attack anyway, the pawn from d6. Therefore, white is much better in any case, you see. Again, rook a8. Rook a8, the small possibility to have some counterplay, the a file,
Yeah.
All right, queen f2, we attack, you see, we attack something, the pawn, knight e8, okay. And here, h3, preparing, the next part of the game. Rook a3, all right, after rook a3, queen b2, we accept a middle game coming to a very strong end game, He has the choice to trade two rooks or one rook, In both cases, white is much better. All right, rook a8, of course, no? Rook a1. Okay, he took once, I took in a1. Now he could take first. He could even trade queens, but if he wanted to trade queens, he loses most probably the pawn from b6, because after rook takes, queen a8.
Yes.
You can take in a8. He takes, and knight a4. If you want to take the pawn b6, you can take it.
Yes.
And the b pawn is very dangerous because coming very quick.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right, g6. All right, after g6, at least we could open something on the other side, Now we take in f6 and g6. Now, in a few moves, everything is coming very quickly now.
So now you change your.
No, you change the plan, and now you threaten to come very quickly, attacking the king, in a few moves. And
so it wasn't a good idea to push.
No, g6, but he lost patience probably in time travel. And I tell you, it's very difficult to suffer the whole game like this. It was, you have to struggle like a crazy, to have something. A small hope like this.
Yeah.
At least with g6, he tried to,
play
to
something.
free himself to play. Yeah. And now queen there. All right, queen d2, very logical. The idea is to put the bishop in g5.
Yes.
And you'll see what happens with the black queen. I mean, here, active, rook a3. Now, very easy, there, queen h5, no?
Yes.
Bishop e2, and now look, the only move, queen h7. Look at this.
Yeah.
Queen h7. The queen from d8 comes to h7. Very sad. Such a position. Huh? But it's not easy. Okay, king go back. Preparing the rest. You see. And here, of course, he wanted. I tell you, he wanted some counterplay. So he gave the exchange, hoping that at least he has some good activity with a strong bishop from e4. I mean, he takes the central pawn.
Yes.
Okay, he took in e4, and now the second surprise, c5. The square c5 is controlled 3 times, but this pseudo sacrifice is decisive. In a few moves, white wins here. Okay, he took there, bishop b5. Until now, everything is perfect from white. I played very well until here. But here, in that position, after f6, we analyzed afterwards, after the game. And here, it seems that white could win very easy by playing queen b3 check, king somewhere, and queen a4. It's very easy to win for white,
So here,
here, queen b3 check was the best, and king aj, and now queen a4. And if you arrive there, it's terrible for black, because if you take in d7, you attack the knight, you open the f file, and you come with the rook and with the queen, and this is decisive, terrible for black. But okay, I came back after knight b6, queen a5 wins. But here I played something else, still winning for white, but more difficult, We'll see why. Okay, I took in c5, he took there, now I took there, and here, if he takes in d6 is bad for him, but the problem is that, what did he play? He took, no?
He took.
Okay, he took. Now I played check, yes. He played there, and I took. And now, look at this. If he takes in d7, it's forced win for white.
Yes, yes.
But this is unbelievable. I mean, such a move. I mean, the only move, of course.
Yeah.
But very difficult to think that black doesn't take the bishop and plays that. It was the only way to defend the position. If he takes in d7, it's forced win. Very nice, you see. Now queen takes d7. Not too complicated with forced win. Rook f8 check. Yeah. King g7. Queen takes. Queen g8 check. King h6 forced. Queen h8 check. Queen h7. Queen f6 resign. Attack the knight and mate in h8 or win the queen.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. After queen e7, you have to win again the second time the game. Fantastic defensive move. Yeah. Now, finally, you win a very complicated endgame if you play very well. But you have to demonstrate how and sure. So therefore, I tell you, the Soviet school, the Soviet school could find such a fantastic move. Here, after queen takes and bishop takes, here he proposed draw. You can imagine, after such a game.
Yeah.
And we continue, of course. White has to win. He's winning for white, but he's winning with the only moves all the time. So now g4, fantastic move. After g4, you have time to come with the king in e3. When you arrive in e3 and you centralize the king,
yes,
he's winning all the time. But you have
why is fantastic?
Because you control the square f5. He came always, if you don't play g4, has time to put the knight in f5 or the bishop in f5, and then it's very difficult to win. Because when you take in f5, he has time to take with the pawn, and then it's almost impossible. Knight and 3 pawns against rook and 2 pawns is impossible to win if he puts such a position, Yeah. But now it's completely different because the structure is very good for white,
But even if he put the piece here, you cannot kick it out with g4 after? later?
You can, but you lose a very important tempo. And by putting there a piece, and if you are forced to retreat, he has time to play first g4, you know.
Oh, I
And
see.
if he can trade 1-2 pawns, is very close to draw, you know.
Oh, it's different.
So it's move by move, you know, all the time. But you have to understand this. But
Yeah.
again, experience, as I told you, you know. So okay, we'll see, because it's very instructive. How can white win this, you know? Okay, king f2, the first moment. All right. King f6, bishop b3, knight b5. Well, exactly on time. There, you know, king e3. Now he waits, of course. No? So we come, the rook comes, and we control all these cases. The only hope for black is later on to have the possibility to attack the pawn from h3 with the white bishop, you know. That is the last hope. So we have to demonstrate that white has enough to win. How? Rook c7, all right. After rook c7, bishop e8, bishop d5, you see, control the central square from d5. The bishop from d5 is very, very strong, and black is Zugzwang, you know, he has to move something. So he has to give the e4 pawn, and that is enough. Now it's nothing to do, you know. So takes, and bishop there. And now, look at this.
He resigned.
Now he resigned. Why? Very easy. Rook c1, bishop takes h3, and king f3, and the bishop is lost.
Oh,
Then, you know, the last surprise.
oh,
You
beautiful.
see? Beautiful, no?
Yes.
But you had to win, you know, to work like a madman, you know, to win such a fantastic position from the opening, you know. But it's very difficult, against a very strong opponent, it's very difficult to show it, you know. You have to
Yeah.
have a very good technique, you see. Because he's defending, okay, you have to demonstrate.
Yeah.
You are
You should-
better, you are much better, but okay, you have to win, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big distance.
Yeah. So therefore, the game is most instructive, you see, until the last moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
You are.